Hi, what's up? Today is what is today's date? Sunday, April the 5th, 2020. So it's Sunday. Didn't do yesterday, which was Saturday. I was gonna do one, but I just kind of held it over and figured I'd do it today. Yesterday was a really cool day. It was Saturday. Um and I went to go see my dad, my stepmom, Heather. I refer to her as Heather. She's my stepmom. She raised me, so I love her. She's been in my life since I was about 4.5, 5 years old. Um, I'll say five. But she's been in my life for a long time. And ironically, she was actually my dad's girlfriend before my mom. So shout out my dad. Now I did social distance, total socially distance, so I couldn't touch them. I didn't go in the house. Originally, I was just going up there to get my winter tires removed off my vehicle and get my summer tires put on. Problem is my summer tires aren't on rims. My dad don't have the machine to get the rubbers on the rims. So just put them in the vehicle, brought them home, and they're sitting in the back of my vehicle at the moment. I got to go to the dealership and get them put on. But we didn't. We couldn't really hug them. I say we, me and Joan, we couldn't really hug them. We couldn't, go in the house. The things I normally do, I see my parents and I give them a hug, and I see my aunt, I give my aunt a hug, and I see, the dog, and I give the dog a hug. So we couldn't do that stuff. We had to kind of keep our distance and, just kind of like air hug. Was what it was, but it was really, really cool, and it was just good just to see them. My dad had said something to me on Friday. He said he thinks if he gets this, he won't survive. And that kind of scared me. I don't want to think of a life without my dad, at least not yet. Um, I grew up with my dad. I left my mom's house when I was 4.5. Um, I was in a bad position. I was in a bad situation. I don't remember her and my dad together as a couple, so I don't remember us, the three of us as a family. My memory kicks in around the time that I started to go visit my dad, and I'd spend time there, and I'd cry when I had to go home and cry when I got home, and like pretty much cry right through to the next morning. And eventually my mom started seeing somebody else, and there was good times with him. There was bad times with him. He did some cool stuff. He kind of taught me how to ride a bike, taught me how to catch a football, how to shoot a basketball. A couple really cool things. He gave me, my two siblings, right? Aside from my stepsister Jen. So, shout out to him for that. Unfortunately, he's not around. He took his life about 10 years ago, and I probably should have went to his funeral, especially just to give the support to my siblings that they deserved, but I didn't, and I'm sorry that I didn't. But like I said, there were bad times, and I don't know what his issue was. I don't know. It's because he's an East Coaster, and there was a lot of racial issues in the East Coast. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, talking about East Coast of Canada. I don't know if that was what it was. I don't know if he was just ashamed that my mom had already had a child with another man by the time he got with my mom. I don't know if it's because my father's black, and as a white man he now had this black kid with him. Whatever it was, whatever his issues were, there were definitely some problems. And sometimes he would drink, and those problems would become my problems. And I won't go far into detail about what had happened, because a lot of these things I've never told anybody. If I have, it's just a small handful of people. Um, but some of my memories aren't so great. Some of my memories will last with me a lifetime, and they're the type of thing that it it hurts. It hurt at the time, and it hurts to even fathom or think about putting another human being, let alone a 3, 4, 5 year old, through that. So eventually my mom made the choice and, sent me to go live with my dad. That didn't stop custody battles that would happen a couple years later, and the anxiety that I would get from these custody battles. But they happened. you know? And that's probably why during this virus, I'm a little bit um, easier to adapt to, solitude, and then easier to adapt to the situations that are evolving around me than some other people. You got to understand, before I was 8 years old, I'd moved almost 10 times. Whether it was living with my dad, my grandparents, my mom and my stepfather, my dad, my babysitters, my dad, my aunt, grandma, and uncle, um, my grandparents when my sister was born for like 6 months before I went back to my mom's and went to my dad's. And then eventually, my dad settles in with my stepmother, and I'm like 8 years old at that time. So that's when I finally got some stability in my life. And I understand now why my dad did that. As a kid, I might not have understood, why he did that. But now I get it, because he needed to give me stability. He knew, he couldn't keep me in this unstable position because it would just totally mess my mind up in the long run, right? So respect to my dad for that. And, I love him, and I love my stepmom, and, I love my family. And like I said, you know, even when it comes to, my stepdad, I'm appreciative that I had him in my life. And I've had like three or four other stepfathers in my life, right? Some boyfriends that my mom had who were really cool, and some just disappeared and I never saw them again. But that's what it is. So shout out to my parents, and shout out to just going to see them, and yeah, I mean, I'll just say it. I'll just show you guys, because there is a reason aside from just getting the tires put on the vehicle that I wanted to go out there. Aside from hearing my dad say what he said the other day, it kind of scared me, and so I wanted to go out there and give them motivation, give my dad motivation as far as why he needs to stay healthy, and why he needs to just kind of not have that type of feeling, right? And I've known this about 8 weeks now, about 9 weeks, maybe a little bit less. Um, and it's probably the most important announcement I'm ever gonna make in my life. It's just, we're in such a crazy time, right? So, without further hesitation, we're pregnant. I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a parent. I'm 38 years old, having my first child, and I'm scared shitless. But I'm also excited, man. Like, it's the greatest thing in the world. I want to be a dad, be a daddy, right? It's just, we're going through this period right now, just absolute uncertainty, and it just sucks because that means no classes, no Lamaze classes, no experts giving me the information that I need to know and what we need to know as a couple. And I can't even go into the ultrasound appointments right now and whatnot. So it's a little nerve-wracking, um but it's exciting. So I told my dad, and I told, my stepmom, and they were genuinely so happy. We wanted to hug, so they hugged each other. They couldn't hug us. And I could see that, they were kind of tearing up. And I don't know if I'd get this reaction from my mother. You know, I called her yesterday just to ask if she needed me to grab anything from Costco for her and my papa. It's what I call my grandfather. And it's just such an awkward conversation. She didn't even recognize my phone number. I've had this number for almost 20 years. So to have my mother not recognize my phone number that I've had for almost 20 years, it just tells me what state I'm in her life. I'm not a priority. I brought her a gift on Christmas and brought it to her door because she lives in the same apartment as my papa. And it was just so awkward. I gave it to her Christmas Eve, and it was kind of like a thank you, but that's really it. And there was no real call on Christmas to say Merry Christmas. I don't get calls on my birthday. Um, My grandma Carol passed away. That's my mom's stepmom. And I hadn't seen this woman in a few years. Maybe not communicated as best I should have. But that kind of happens as you're trying to just grow and live your own life. But nonetheless, I had no ill will towards this woman whatsoever. I didn't know she was going through brain cancer, and she had passed away. My mom didn't even tell me that she passed away. She didn't invite me to the funeral. She didn't, let me know. And I found out through my brother Alex. And it made me feel such a shame to miss a family member's funeral. So here I am doing this. And I hope that my future child sees this. Because this is why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to show you what I'm doing during the virus. I'm doing this so that my child can see these videos in the future. I don't know if you're going to be a boy. I don't know if you're going to be a girl, but I started this series so you can see this and understand the state of the world while we were expecting you. And I've done a few episodes with the intention of doing the big reveal, and I just felt now was a greater time as ever. But I've told literally strangers out in this world now, once I released the video, before I've even told the woman who carried me in her stomach. And I don't ever want you, my future child, to ever feel the way she makes me feel. I'm human. You're going to be human. And it's important to know that the people who conceived you, carried you, and cared for you when you couldn't do those things for yourself actually still care about you, regardless of how old you are, especially when, as a planet, we're going through something, regardless of if this is going to be over in 6 months, 6 days, 6 hours, or 6 minutes. It's just that lack of concern from the person who should show more concern than anybody else. There's a movie called The Crow. I've watched it so many times. The Crow 1 and Crow 2. I shouldn't say so many times. I watched it a few times. I can't remember if it's part 1 or part 2. I think it might be part 2. But there's a quote, and this quote is probably true for 99% of the planet. But this quote pissed me off the first time I heard it. And, you know, and the quote is that mother is the name for God on the lips of all children. Well, or mom is the name for God on the lips of all children. It wasn't like that for me. You know, this woman just never seemed happy in my presence, even as a kid. As young as 4, 5. Shit, I remember coming home from daycare and this woman just acting like I ruined her day because she had to come pick me up, or because we had to go home and she had to make me dinner or do whatever she had to do. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you were 20 when you had me. Shit happens. Get over yourself and, you know, either grow some balls and tell me to fuck off and get out of your life, or accept me for who I am, because you've never accepted me. But you're so accepting to my brother and to my sister. I just don't understand how you can be so accepting to them, but so cold to me. And I get it. I'm not perfect. There might have been times that I wasn't there. Maybe you hate the fact that when I was a teenager, I wasn't there for you and, Ashley and Alex, but I didn't feel like you were there for me as a kid. I would call you and you just made it seem like I was bothering you. So I didn't really intend for this episode to be like that. I intended for this episode to be happy, man. Because, like I said, I'm having a baby, so I'm happy. And I'm not going to let somebody else get me down when I'm thinking about the potential, the future, and all the great things that, my child could do, maybe bring to this world. Or maybe my child is just wants to be normal and, just live a life of just doing the most mundane things. Whatever you want to do, I'm already proud of you. You're not even born yet. Do you to the fullest. Be you 100%. That's what I want you to take away from this. If you see this sometime down the road, I want you to just be happy. I don't care what you do per se. I mean, I might switch it up down the road, but as of right now, when I pray to God every day, I just pray for a happy, healthy baby. I don't care if you're a boy, if you're a girl. I just want you to be happy and healthy. Those are the two most important things that I see for you. Happy and healthy. Um, so yeah, man, I'm gonna be a dad. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. The next few months is gonna be crazy. We got a lot to get through with some roadblocks. And I can't let those roadblocks deter me from getting where we need to go. You know what I mean? Um, so I guess after this, after the next ultrasound, that's when we'll figure out, what names we're gonna go with or start selecting and all that stuff. But I know right now this isn't gonna be a typical pregnancy. We're gonna have we're not gonna have the classes, the baby showers, the physical support from family members that you typically get during these times just because of the state of the world. I get it. So I need to do what I can do. And, you know, that's it really, man. Shout out to my dad, shout out to my stepmom, shout out to my entire family. As far as my mother goes, it's really her choice how involved she wants to be in my life and in the life of her grandchild. One thing I refuse is I refuse to let my mother treat you the way she treated me. I don't want you to walk away with those emotions, that baggage, and just that stuff saddled to you. You're better than that. You're worth everything, every grain of sand on this planet. You're worth that and more. So, my promise to you, I will not treat you in a similar way. And I will not let her treat you that way. She'll either treat you like the prince or princess you're going to be, or she just won't treat you at all. All right? As far as me, as far as I go, you're my legacy, you know? So I'm going to do what I have to do, secure my legacy. All right? All right. So we're going to keep recording these journals. Almost got a little emotional. It's just my emotions all over the place right now, between justified anger and nervousness and intrepidation mixed in with just being scared. Scared for my woman. She's a nurse. Joan's a nurse. And we're going through something. And she's got to work those front lines. And I'm scared for my family. I'm scared for some of my friends. But I'm excited. I'm excited that a year from now, I'm going to have this child in my arms who needs me. That'll be you. Depending on who's watching. Like if you're watching this in the future, if you're watching this as a viewer, just disregard that comment. All right, so that's what's up, man. Gonna be a dad, I don't know what to say, man. 38 years old, life's changing. Part of me wishes I did this in my 20s, but everything happens for a reason. And I just really look forward. I look forward to getting to meet my child, getting to meet this human being and watching them turn into their own person, personality and growing up. I'm fucking scared though. I'm scared, man. So I'm just gonna end it on that, all right? Quick count. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Let me just bring up my browser really quick. I just want to see what the count is at so I can give an accurate representation. All right. So again, as of today, Sunday, April the 5th. More specifically, let's see here. Try to find, go here. There's a decent tracker. And I know this is a longer video today, but like I said, I had an announcement, right? Very important announcement. And I guess just some stuff get off my chest. All right. My internet's slow. Everything's slow right now. All right. It's running too slow. So let me pop it up on my phone. Apologize. I just wanted to give a count of where we're at right now dealing with disease, with this virus, while documenting this journal, right? It's important to have that information as well as other information. So let's see. Right now, as a planet, we are at 1,261,613 cases, 69,068 deaths, 259,853 recovered. Good on you. I hope that number increases. And currently 932,692 cases unresolved. More specifically, the United States of America has 326,181 cases with 15,003 deaths. Canada, where I live, where I reside, in my home country, currently has 15,358 cases with 1,355 deaths. I'm sorry, that is actually not the deaths at all. 277 deaths. I was going to say, that's crazy. That's a crazy jump from yesterday, so I apologize. So again, Canada, 15,358 cases with 277 deaths. I think even in the United States of America, I was wrong. They have 326,000 cases. 326,181 cases with 9,274 deaths. I apologize for giving you the wrong numbers, a different chart. So that's where we're at. And, you know, let's see where things go. But like I said, the real news story for me is going to be a dad. All right, so this is a really long journal today. Apologize. But had to, you know, had an important announcement to make, all right? So eventually I'll let my mom know, but, you know, or she'll find out some other way. Yeah, kind of let y'all know. That's what's up, y'all. All right, man. One love. We out of here. Stay safe. Peace.